Back in the day when animals still spoke and the internet wasn't carved up by a handful of monolithic companies, it was a wild jungle where literally everyone and their grandmother had a website. Many of those sites were forums. Now, today you would be hard-pressed to find any smaller, niche, standalone forums ran by a handful of people. Despite being prevalent and popular throughout the late 90s till the late 2000s, many of these forums died a slow death when places like Facebook, Reddit and Twitter rose up and grew to be large hubs for people to flock to for endless discussion and debate about pretty much any subject known to man. While the titans of discourse are often heavily moderated, dare I say, censored, not to mention the data-selling shady business, the main reason they triumphed over the hordes of user-made forums is the main selling point: convenience. Still doting the vast wastes of the internet, there are still some of these small forums left to serve as a safe haven for those seeking conversation without the judgeful eye of Silicon Valley. The forum we are going to talk about in this video, Gaia Online, is not one of those. Well, kinda. It wavers around in this weird grey space between the well-known commercial Goliaths like Reddit or Facebook and the casual indie forums. But before we get ahead of ourselves, what is Gaia Online? Gaia Online is an online community and social network with an impressive large quantity of discussion boards for any topic you can imagine. The graphical aesthetics of the site are heavily inspired by anime and manga culture, especially its avatar designs. In contrast to most forum sites where users upload their own pictures or images to serve as a personal avatar, Gaia Online gives you an anime-inspired mini-me that you can dress up with thousands of random clothing items you can find, buy, win or trade in between your rampant posting on the boards. Making posts in Gaia's forum boards earns you Gaia Gold, which you can spend in the various NPC shops on the site or on the Gaia Marketplace, a place where users can buy or sell pixel items to make their dream avatar. Gold or items can also be traded among users for personalized art, etc. All this created a vibrant virtual economy in the Gaia Online community. Of course, nothing in life is free, and later on, Gaia Cash would be introduced, a currency users could buy with real-life moolah, along with extremely fancy premium items you could only buy with, you guessed it, Gaia Cash. As expected, this got a lot of critique from the user base when it was first introduced, causing massive inflations when these premium items dropped on the marketplace. Now it's considered a part of the site, although considering the current limbo state of Gaia, I doubt anyone is dropping big bucks for some pixel money anymore. The countless forum boards, avatar designing options and virtual economy aspect really put Gaia Online a few steps ahead of the common post and be done with it forums back in the day, earning it a massive thriving user base eager to engage in online discussions, role-playing, showing off their artistic creativity, collecting virtual pixel items and a lot of shitposting. On February 18, 2003, a ragtag gang of weeaboos, specifically two go-getters named Derek Liu, aka Lancer, and Josh Gainsborough, aka Locke, founded a website called Go Gaia, an anime link list based on their collective hobbies that would turn into a forum-based website, eventually evolving into more of a social network with the well-known dressable chibi avatar system, the Gaia Online we know today. Rapidly gaining an enormous user base, the golden age of Gaia Online is often considered to have been between the year 2005 till 2009 or 2011, depending who you ask. What was essentially a glorified forum site became a universe in itself, with world building, lore, storylines, events, characters and more. All the while with the users, called Gaians as citizens of this online world, at the center of it all as active participants. If you were a terminally online millennial gamer weeaboo, then Gaia Online was the place to be, and let me tell you, there were a lot of us. At its peak, Gaia Online had 26 million registered users with 1 million forum posts being made every day. Forum boards were endless streams of posts just pouring through, along with events running throughout the year, such as real-world celebrations like Christmas, Halloween or Easter, but also original ones like storyline events, faction wars and so-called Kickstarter events where Gaians needed to join forces to reach a goal. Along with an ever-expanding visual world map offering users locations that would add to the many intertwining storylines, characters and activities Gaia Online had to offer. Until they made an actual MMORPG in 2008 called ZOMG, or So My God, I guess. Browser-based MMO game where you would play as your avatar you used on the forums and move through well-known landmarks of the Gaia map, doing quests trying to solve the mystery of the animated random objects which were mysteriously brought back to life and attacking other Gaians. Pretty basic stuff now, but back then it was a big deal. It's not often you see a forum site spawning a full-fledged MMO game. Alas, despite it being popular among a lot of users, the game was taken offline in 2014, citing hardware troubles and unmanageable limitations. Due to the fan request, the game was brought back online in 2017 but never achieved its former success and is now yet another MMO dead world of a past era. Despite this, SOMG is still seen as one of the biggest highlights and achievements in the colorful history of Gaia Online. Even if questing in an MMO game isn't your forte, Gaia Online offered a ton of smaller side games and activities if you got tired with bumping threads on the Chatterbox forum. A few examples of these are a fishing game that lets you catch fish in the lakes of Gaia to exchange for gold or prizes, a housing system that allowed Gaians to have their own crib, which they could decorate to their own tastes, and if you can have a house, you might as well throw in a car you can customize and do races with, right? For the more whimsical Gaians, you have Gaia Towns, where your avatar can stroll through a small-scale Habbo Hotel-inspired neighborhood and visit player houses, have real-time chats, catch bugs, pick flowers, shake trees for gold, and attend certain events. In the mood for some lazy entertainment? No problem. Back then, you or your avatar, I should say, could just hop into the Gaia cinema to join other users watching anime, cartoons or short films. There was also a whole aquarium system where you could collect fish to keep and do minigames for items for those that weren't allowed to have a goldfish at home. For the filthy casuals, you had a myriad of simple flash games you could play for a few minutes to earn some easy gold. In 2020, a lot of these games got the short end of the stick, when Flash was discontinued, resulting in many being unplayable or not functioning properly anymore. Although at that time Gaia Online was already slipping its downward spiral. But for now, let's stay in the golden years a bit longer. Gaia Online was at its peak popularity and had sponsorships and collaborations with new movies, shows and companies coming out of the ass. The fandom craze got to such a level there was even a merch shop selling real-life versions of Gaia items. People fucking loved this site. Have you ever heard of a forum site having a merch shop? I sure haven't. Gaia Online would mix even more in real life as they hosted several IRL events and managed booths at conventions in the USA and UK. I even personally got to meet one of the developers at London Comic Con back then. However, with fame and popularity usually comes controversy. In the early years, Gaia had a very active roleplay community, which often tiptoed around the edges of online conduct and decency with its many more erotic-focused RP threads, culminating in established roleplay bordellos where users could pay in-game gold for a lovely text-based hookup. Bra sign shops were also a thing back then. These were threads where female users would sell selfies only wearing a bra, holding up a piece of paper with the username of the person that requested it in exchange for a certain amount of Gaia gold to spruce up the signature space of their posts or profile. Of course, these gooner shops became very popular and a prevalent part of the Gaia economy among the many in-game avatar items, housing items, game items, Gaia car accessories, and RP hookers. Eventually, the Gaia staff and moderators had to draw a line in the sand to put a stop to this growing Temu, Sodom and Gomorrah, obviously out of fear of getting into hot waters legally and for future brand deals and collaborations. With a forum boasting over 26 million users, it's to be expected a lot of the controversies plaguing Gaia Online were created by its users. Account hacking, posting unsavory things, gold scamming, sometimes even involving real money, item duplication tricks, you name it. Some Gaians even became infamous celebrities on the site through their unhinged actions, with a select few reaching the illustrious internet meme lolcow status. One name that always pops up when discussing these Gaia personalities is Boxy. Although she did not have a negative reputation on the forums, she became well known for her cringe-inducing viral videos on YouTube. And no, she's not shoe on head. But let's not place the blame for all these controversies solely on the users. The people behind the steering wheel of Gaia Online have their fair share in it. One of these fuck-ups was the well-documented and mocked smoking ban. On November 2009, the Gaia team made the announcement they were banning and removing all tobacco smoking related avatar items. Both the Gaia forums and the Facebook Gaia fanpage were flooded with critical comments about the issue. Some users protested the ban by making avatar designs depicting their stance on the matter or using unrelated items to fabricate a resemblance to a cigarette. The ban was a rather idiotic form of virtue signaling and an attempt at making the site more kid-friendly, which was hilarious considering by that point pretty much the entire user base on Gaia Online was 18 plus at least, and Gaia also boasted a good selection of cheeky, if not downright lewd, avatar items. After a few days of relentless criticism, the staff wisely backed down and lifted the ban. Gaia Online historically was intertwined with 4chan and by extent Anonymous, mainly through memes and shitposting, sharing an overlapping user base that made the Gaia forums a perfect petri dish for politically incorrect memes and other fun things that would piss off a lot of soy sippers today. All in all, most Gaia Online controversies of back in the day were a fart in a bottle compared to the controversies current day YouTubers and streamers get into now. There was one shitstorm in the history of Gaia Online that stands above all. A controversy so detrimental that it became one of the nails in the coffin for Gaia Online. In the early 2010s, a new CEO, Gary Schofield, took over the reins at Gaia Online and single-handedly blew up the virtual economy with his aggressive monetization strategies. This textbook example of a greedy corporate bigwig saw this sprawling community of thousands banding together over similar interests and just saw big dollar signs pop up in his eyes. His arsenal of cash grabs included heavily pushing the user to purchase Gaia Cash, the Gaia currency that, unlike Gaia Gold, you needed to buy with real money. This was incentivized with the release of many premium items only sold in the Gaia Cash shop and the introduction of gold generator items. These were items that would reward users with a random amount of gold, effectively causing a massive inflation on the Gaia marketplace and blowing up the virtual economy Gaia Online had built up throughout the years. And to give all the good, obedient walking wallets a pat on the head, every user that made purchases exceeding 9,999 Gaia Cash got an exclusive invite to a rich Gaian circle jerk guild called Club Verge and access to the exclusive Verge shop, which sold even more pricier rare items. So people who blew money on pixel items got rewarded with the ability to blow even more money on more expensive pixel items. Also, for the record, 9,999 Gaia Cash is the equivalent of $100 American or around 87 euros. All this caused a tidal wave of negative comments and feedback from users. And the Gaian Mr. Burns was even catching some serious heat from his own employees, as his approval rate on Glassdoor.com, a job site where employees can review their company, had dropped to a low 25% at the time. Schofield would leave Gaia Interactive in 2014, stepping down as CEO amidst a so-called restructuring of the company. After he got the boot, the old guard took charge once more as leadership shifted back to the Gaia founders and longtime staff. Especially Derek Liu, aka Lanzer, stepped up to lead Gaia Online in a recovering phase, rebuilding broken trust with its users and fix the disastrous virtual economy. Alas, Gaia Online would never regain the status and scale it had during its golden years. Back in its heyday, you couldn't keep up with all the new topics being posted, and oftentimes refreshing the page of popular sections like the Chatterbox would reveal a completely different first page of brand new threads, while the one thread you were just following up on was already old news and banished to the pages that came after page 1. Which might as well be in purgatory because nobody checked those. To give you another depiction of how insanely active the Gaia forums were, there is the Million Page thread, another legendary artifact from Gaia Online's rich history. In 2004, a Gaian named Lupich came to the Chatterbox with a dream. That dream was to make a thread with 1,000,000 pages. And due to the Chatterbox being a Chatterbox, a section of the forums where low-effort posts, casual chats and relentless spamming were encouraged, it lended itself perfectly for this challenge. After 15 years, Lupich would see his dream fulfilled, with the thread reaching its 1,000,000th page in 2019, earning it the title of Gaia's first 1,000,000-page thread and giving it a claim to being one of the longest continuously running forum threads ever created. These days, however, it's a rare occasion to register any noticeable movement or traction among threads that won't take several days or weeks, unless some user decides to speedrun their ban by rapidly spam posting threads with questionable contents. In 2014, they launched this weird Gaia spin-off site called Tentacle, which was basically a more compact Gaia Online aimed at adults, allowing more adult-themed, cheeky roleplays and all that other smutty goodness. Aside from a whole bunch of nudes being posted, it never amounted to anything and was rather quickly and unceremoniously closed down, while Gaia Online itself kept limping along. And thus we reach current day Gaia Online, which is sadly an empty husk of its former glory, seemingly on borrowed time. A slowly degrading husk riddled with parasites. Even though Gaia largely stays afloat due to the nostalgia of the many Gaians that grew up on the site, it does suffer the same common ailment just as more recent online social communities. The black plague of our culture, so to say. The modern audience. Usually seen in large circle jerks on Twitter, Blue Sky or Reddit, these fart-sniffing cretins, alas, also spread to Gaia Online, counting narcissistic virtue signalers, fake activists, misandrist femcels, and professional victimhood crybabies among their ranks. The modern audience infection can clearly be seen with more and more politically charged and race or gender baiting threats popping up, aimed to impose their deranged worldviews or just rile people up. Luckily, unlike other online communities, on Gaia Online you can still tell these lunatics to kick rocks in far more colorful terms. While this definitely scared off some people hoping to enjoy a chill forum without the usual social media brain rot, Gaia Online was already a coffin being slowly lowered in the dirt. Personally, I think the slow demise of the once thriving weeaboo-inspired online community site can largely be pinned down to the unfortunate combination of all the factors mentioned in this video, mainly its large user base being siphoned away by the newer, more convenient social media titans, and Gaia's greedy monetization era driving away many people as well. And of course, a lot of Gaians that joined the site at a younger age just grew out of it, while there's little to no influx of new users because those get instantly scooped up by the current big social media players. Ultimately, Gaia Online was a product of its time and the culture at that time, rising up amidst a sea of dozens in a dime text-based forums before the inception of social media as we know it today, that has menacingly creeped into every aspect of our lives. Perhaps Gaia Online might make a big comeback with the growing dissatisfaction with these big data hoarding social media corporations, or it will just vanish from the internet one day. Until any of those come to pass, Gaia Online is a fun, little nostalgic hangout for us, cringy weeaboo millennials.